is the key for the achievement of all the SDGs. To her, the NCCE efforts will deepen gender mainstreaming in the country.
It is for this reason that UNDP supported the development of a training manual to accompany the policy. This, we believe, will facilitate the strengthening of gender mainstreaming capacity of NCCE staff across the country and lays a firm foundation for the effective implementation of the policy.
Ms. Kathleen Addy is the chairperson of National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
The policy we are launching today will ensure a heightened gender consciousness amongst all our staff in all our offices across the country, in all our internal structures, and both internal and external communication. NCCE continues to work to promote inclusiveness and participation of marginalized groups as enshrined in Articles 17(1) and 2 of the 1992 Constitution.
The policy has the theme, Gender Mainstreaming for Effective Delivery of Civic Education. It is expected to be implemented within 4 years.
The Ghana Maritime Authority says an additional 89,510 officers are needed by 2026 to effectively operate the world merchant fleet. A report by the authority indicates that only 500 people are trained and registered as seafarers, which constitutes about 0.25% of global seafarers supply.
The Ghana Maritime Authority is responsible for enforcing international maritime conventions and national rules and regulations according to the Ghana Shipping Act 2003, Act 645. Addressing the media on this year's Seafarers Celebration Day, the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Mr. Thomas Alonsi, said the authority is encouraging more Ghanaian youth to take up seafaring careers to facilitate their upskilling and improve talent retention for prosperity and stability via sea trade.
The authority has licensed seafarer recruitment and placement service providers to ensure that the recruitment and placement of seafarers is well regulated. It is also to protect seafarers from unscrupulous service providers and to protect their wages and other benefits under the Maritime Labour Convention. Ghana recently signed MOUs with the United Kingdom, France, United Dar es Salaam, bringing to 36 the number of MOUs Ghana has with countries of high fleet, where seafarers holding Ghanaian certificates of competency can be employed to work on board their ships under the STC.
The Deputy Minister for Transport, Mr. Alhassan Suleimana Tampuli, said the authority's vision is to make Ghana a top seafaring supply nation to improve Ghana's foreign exchange earnings and livelihood of the population.
Therefore, without seafarers, the flow of goods, services and global commerce will grind to a halt. Sustainable development goals will not be met, and post-COVID-19 economic recovery will be extremely difficult, if not impossible.
A personnel parade for the recruits course 54 of the Ghana National Fire Service has been held in Accra. At the parade for the 516 recruits, the Minister for the Interior, Mr. Ambrose Derry, called for attitudinal change to enable the country attain a complete circle of fire safety.
The recruits course 54 comprises 294 males and 222 females from the various regions across the country. They qualified for enlistment, having possessed the requisite qualifications and passed the pre-recruitment medical examination and selection process. The recruit training program was aimed at exposing the recruits to the rudiments of firefighting and the skills required to manage and prevent undesired fires. The 516 passed out after completion of their 9 weeks basic firefighting training at the Fire Academy and Training School, FATS, at Jamestown. During their stay at FATS, the firemen and women were taken through familiarization of fire service equipment, hoses and fittings, hydrants and hose standard practices, chemistry, physics of combustion, pumps and primers, fire safety, road traffic extrication, bus fires, among others. The Minister for Interior, Mr. Ambrose Derry, charged the firemen and firewomen not to rest on their oars, but continue to discharge their duties with professionalism.
I want you to learn further from your seniors who have gathered solid experiences on the job over a long period of time. Acquaint yourself regularly with the tenets of your noble profession so as to exhibit high level of professionalism at all times.
85 recruits with HND certificates passed out on the ranks of Assistant Station Officer ASTNO and Deputy Group Officer DGO. 81 recruits with diploma certificates passed out on the ranks of Subordinate Officer SUBO and Assistant Group Officer AGO, and 350 with WASI passed out on the ranks of Recruit Firemen RFM and Recruit Firewomen RFW. Recruit Course 54 is the second batch of recruits who are on attachment at the various regional commands to continue the 2022 training program at the Fire Academy Training School.
Still watching News Hour live on GBC News. A new block to accommodate junior ranks of the 64 Infantry Regiment has been commissioned at Gonda Barracks in Burma Camp in Accra. The Freedom Block will help resolve accommodation challenges of the force and house most of their personnel in the barracks.
It started as a Forces Reserve Unit in 1982, then to Forces Reserve Battalion in 1986, before finally being designated 64 Infantry Regiment in 1993. For years, this unit had no infrastructure to accommodate staff, affecting their working conditions. Today, the new block, which was named after one of their own, XSWO Freedom, is expected to improve operations and successes of the regiment.
The Ghana Army will continue to recognize officers and soldiers who are loyal and contribute to the development of the Ghana Armed Forces. It is an indication that if you serve and serve well, irrespective of color, tribe, age, you will be recognized by the Ghana Armed Forces.
Since its inception, the regiment has provided troops for international peacekeeping operations. On the local front, the troops of the regiment were promptly deployed for Pacific operations during Operation Gongong, that is, the Nanumba-Kokumba conflict in 1994, as one of the lead elements in that operation.
The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nanaba Apiamfo, has cut the salt for the commencement of a 180 PhD apartment to be constructed at the university's campus in Accra. The first phase of the project is expected to be completed within 14 months.
The edifice will be a two-story building apartment with 180 bedrooms. The first phase of the project, which involves the construction of a 60-bedroom apartment out of the 240 apartment facility, will cost 9 million Ghana cedis. The second phase, 60-bedroom apartment, will consist of 20 rooms with kitchenette, small sitting area, a bedroom, a washroom, office for board managers, and a library for the students. The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Abba Apia Amfo, said the project seeks to help admit more PhD students, support their training, and produce critical thinking ready to provide solutions to existing challenges.
In order for us to attract more PhD students, it's very important that we focus on increasing the stock of residential facilities on our campuses, thereby giving our students an opportunity to study in a congenial environment. So hopefully this PhD residential building project will help the University of Ghana become the hub for PhD training, as Prof. Santia Mwabedu said, nationally, but I hope that not just nationally, but in the sub-region as well. It is my expectation that in subsequent phases, we will make provision for childcare and other gender-based amenities that will fit the needs of the 21st century PhD students.
Mr. Edmond Setre is the architect for the project.
This project is the construction and completion of PhD courts. The entire phase is phased out in three 60 bedrooms for the first phase. Second phase will be another 60, third phase another 60. So in all, we're expecting about 180 bedrooms.
The 180 PhD bedroom apartment will accommodate more than 150 PhD students when completed.
The Emeritus Archbishop of Cape Coast, Most Reverend Matthias Nketia, says Ghana has made substantial progress in mathematics and science education, ICT, technical and vocational education specifically. He says enrollment and accessibility to education is also very high. Emeritus Archbishop Nketia is, however, supporting calls on the government to consider a review of the country's education policy to keep up with the times. He was speaking at the school's speech and prize giving day in Cape Coast.
Holy Child School, also known as Angels Hills, an all-girls second cycle institution in Cape Coast, has held its 76th anniversary and speech and prize giving day. The school was founded by the Society of the Holy Child Jesus in 1946 to provide education to Catholics within the region. Its vision remains to provide sound education for females to encourage them to strive to achieve the highest. 76 years on, the school continues to hold on to its values strongly as it marks its 76th anniversary and speech and prize giving day. It has the theme building resilience and inspiring creativity in the girl child through exemplary leadership. The 97-year group, HOPSAT 97, sponsored this year's anniversary. They renovated and refurbished as part of their project the first phase of the Archbishop Inisa House and handed it over to the school. The headmistress of the school, Mrs. Linda Apia, mentioned some academic and other successes of the school during the year under review. She, however, placed an SOS to the government and other stakeholders for teachers' accommodation and to build the school's fence, which began some years ago, but stalled at a point and finally collapsed.
The school has 100 teaching and 60 non-teaching staff, making a total of 166 workers. Out of this number, only 42 stay on campus. There is woefully inadequate staff bungalows. This is one major challenge encountered by the school. We need more accommodation for their staff.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo, a HOPSAN, was the guest of honor.
Our vision for our children to develop their potential to the fullest extent in the 21st century must be the concerted efforts of the government, parents, frontline educators, guardians, and the community.
The Emeritus Archbishop of Cape Coast, Most Reverend Matthias Nketia, lauded government for strides on the educational front regarding STEM education, vocational and technical, and ICT, as well as accessibility. He, however, believes a relook at the whole education structure has been suggested by experts to reflect the current times should be considered.
The new means of social communication, ICT, digitalization, distance learning, name it. The method of education being developed by new experiments. In the face of all this, The school has not lost sight of the church's fundamental educational objective of promoting integral or holistic formation of the human person, head, heart, and hand, basically.
Still on education, and 2 senior high schools in the Western region have received improved infrastructure from the government and the Parents Teacher Association PTA. They are the Adiembra SHS in Sekendi and the St. Mary's Boys SHS in the Hunter West municipality.
The introduction of the free senior high program has led to increased enrollment in most schools. In the Western region, SHS enrollment has jumped from 13,000 to 27,000. This has brought about pressure on existing infrastructural facilities such as dormitories and classrooms. Government has, through various interventions, been systematically addressing these challenges. At the Adiembra SHS, the government has provided 360 capacity single-story girls' dormitory with a mechanized borehole and other ancillary facilities. Handing over the facility, the Western Regional Minister, Mr. Kwabno Tredako Mensah, said education and skills training is one of the core priorities of the government. He said the investment in education is to create opportunities for the youth and advised the students to be serious with their studies to complement the government's efforts in giving them a bright future.
The teachers, as government continue to commit to invest in infrastructure, we expect you also to do whatever it takes to train the young ones who have been entrusted in your care to ensure that they pass and pass well. The last time I was in another school, they admit because of bad grades, but all their children were able to pass into the university.
At the St. Mary's Boys SHS, the school's PTA, with its lean resources, has refurbished a dilapidated chemistry laboratory at 130,000 Ghana cedis for the school. This is to ensure improved performance in the sciences. The chairman of the PTA is Mr. Kweku Chumberima.
This laboratory was built in the 1970s. And it was turned into a science resource center in 1996. Since 1996, it hasn't seen any renovation whatsoever. So it was in a deplorable state when we first came to see it. Then we decided to actually work on it and make it a modern laboratory for the boys to use.
The headmaster of St. Mary's SHS, Reverend Father George Idria Yao Ansah, said the school has over 1,000 science students and the refurbished laboratory will help to impact science education in the school.
The Intercity State Transport Coaches STC has 50 more buses added to its fleet. The buses were donated to the company by its competitor, partner and investor GH Daewoo Motors Ghana. The buses were inaugurated in Accra. The 31-seater buses were meant to be donated during the peak of COVID-19. It was GH Daewoo Motors' way of helping Ghana observe the COVID-19 safety protocols and ensure the safety of passengers. The buses have air disinfectant sanitizer spray machine at the entrance, a hand sanitizing machine, and sanitizer sprinklers to disinfect the atmosphere at certain time intervals. The vehicle also has a spacious leg room for customers to stretch their legs freely. The managing director of the Intercity State Transport Coaches, STC, Nana Kumia, reiterated that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the company lost a lot of businesses to its competitors, which translated into a loss of 74 million Ghana cedis. The Director General of State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, Mr. Edward Watting, said he would try to see how best diesel prices could be adjusted to help the company recover. These additional buses are expected to create additional employment for about 70 drivers. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News and GTV. We are taking a short break. We'll be back with more stories. Please don't go away.
As many defecate in Accra, the gutters are choked with garbage, the streets
It's time for business. The report by the Ghana Chamber of Mines indicates that Ghana's mining sector performance in 2021 took a nosedive due to a combination of concurrent reductions in the output of both large small-scale gold producers. The large-scale subsector's contribution to national gold production decreased from 2.847 million ounces in 2020 to 2.720 million ounces in 2021.
Ghana is one of the leading producers of gold in Africa and the 7th leading producer in the world. Large commercial companies mine the majority of it using heavy machinery, while about 35% is extracted through small-scale mines. According to a report, Ghana in 2021 recorded a string of steep declines in the outturns of production and purchase of its traditional minerals, with manganese and diamond being the outliers. The volume of gold attributable to producers in Ghana declined from 4.2 million ounces in 2020 to 2.8 million ounces in 2021, representing a down 0.92%. The output level in 2021 was lowest since 2008. The chief executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Mr. Suleimanu Kone, said total direct domestic fiscal contributions of members of the chamber increased from 3.9 billion in 2020 to 4.6 billion in 2021, an expansion of 16.05%. The growth in fiscal payments was due to an increase in direct tax, among others.
We are also reinvesting into making sure that you have that steady stream of future mining projects or ore body to be able to actually. Because exploration itself is so risky. It doesn't guarantee that when you dig, you drill, you are saying you will make a commercial find. So all we are saying is that reduce the burden of the upfront taxes, the levies that exploration companies pay. They would want as much as possible, almost 100% of their investment, to go into exploration.
According to the chamber, exploration is critical in ensuring a steady stream of future mining projects that would guarantee continuous payment of fiscal revenue to promote national development by mining companies.
Still in business, Asante Gold Corporation is expected to close a deal on the acquisition of the Tirano mine anytime soon. The mine purchase is in line with the company's objective of becoming a Tier 1 gold mining firm. The coming on board of the Tirano mine will increase the company's gold production to 400,000 ounces gold per year.
Asante Gold, our history, we've been exploring for gold in Ghana since 2012. We have been working at several sites, and these include Kubi, Bedonase, Baikoba, and these are all southwest of Kumasi. We conducted a strategic review last year in March, and our vision at that time was to change from becoming an exploration company to becoming a Tier 1 mining company, obviously with exploration roots, but with much bigger ambitions. We are, obviously our base of operation is Ghana, but we look to become a Tier 1 mining company in West Africa. So last year in August, we announced we had acquired the Bibiani asset west of Kumasi. For those of you who don't know, the Bibiani mine was shut down by Anglo Ashanti in 2006, and although 2 attempts were made to bring it back to operation, the mine has been on care and maintenance since 2015. We announced last August that the mine and process plant would be refurbished and it would produce gold doré in the 3rd quarter of 2022. So it's been a busy year, and I can report that with the support of several Ghanaian contractors, we're going to pour gold within the next 10 days. We recently announced our intention to acquire the Chirano gold mine. We expect to close the deal in the near term, and when that happens, we'll be on a trajectory to produce more than 400,000 ounces gold per year.
The Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, has been sworn in as President of the African Organization for Standardization at a ceremony in Yaoundé, Cameroon. In an inaugural address, Professor Dodu work towards boosting intra-African trade while ensuring Africa's participation in developing international standards.
ASO must be at the table when international standards are being developed. I look forward to when African standards will drive international standards. Because no matter the way you look at it, Africa is the next growth area in the world. We have the markets and we have everything. ASO may see itself just as a standardization body, but in the modern world, you only make money when you add value. ASO can add value by creating the standards. ASO should lead the African Renaissance. Our heads of government have spoken about it, but standards remain the tools by which we can change our continent. So I call on all national standards bodies, we need each other. We need to work together and work together.
That's it for your business. We'll be back with the foreign news.
There are strong women whose stories teach us